Hello. Right, so we're back online. Well, I'm back online. I've got another buddy joining me as a surprise. We just spoke to Ishani, who is lovely, and that was a great chat. I can't believe an hour flew by so quickly. But now I'm back on. Hi, how you doing? I've got, like I said, I've got a buddy joining me in a bit. Let's see if she actually joins me. Hi, Amaya. How are you? Waving. Hi, small but scrappy. How are you? Hi, dude. How's it going? Judy. That's a great name. It's like, hey, Judy, don't make it sad. Bad? Bad? I don't know. Whatever. It's one of those things. Hi, Azuru. How's it going? I'm just messaging my secret surprise buddy who, and to tell that one line. Online. Yo. There you go. But yes, chatting to Ishani was great. It was a lot of fun. She's awesome. The person joining me now is also awesome. They are very special and have some amazing music out, and have some very, very cool stuff happening soon. Hi, Frisha. Hi, Dee. Hi, Yokai. Hi, Chandni. How's it going? And my secret friend is joining. Hi, Vandana. How's it going? Man, maybe I should start these at 7 instead of 6. People are in the house. Hello.
Hi.
How's it going?
How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you.
I'm
Look
good.
at your
Why
hair.
did you just get really
that fills the
quiet?
whole frame. Huh?
You just got really quiet as soon as I joined you. That was weird. You were like super.
Sorry, go on.
You were super loud when I was watching you, and now you're crazy quiet when I'm with you.
I think that may be the internet saying to me, keep your voice down, you idiot. Let Anoushka speak.
This is me calling my tech friend, as always. There we go. Tell me, fix it.
Yeah.
There. You know what I just did? I raised the volume on my telephone, and now.
Oh, is that what happened?
Yeah.
Hey, Ishani's doing this. Hi, Ishani. How's it going?
Hi, Shani. That was a nice chat earlier.
Oh, were you on as well?
I caught the bit of it at the end. Yeah, I refrained from making any comments, but I was there.
A chat. Well, hello. Yeah. So this is a nice little surprise.
Hi, surprise. Hi.
You've been doing a shitload of these over the last few days. Well, not necessarily the lives, but you've been everywhere, interviews and all sorts of such.
I've just been doing a little week of it. It feels like a bit of a shock after lockdown bubble to be sort of back to this kind of work again a little bit, but it's just a few days. It's because a couple of things have coincided at the same time. Well, coincided. I don't have to say at the same time because coincided means at the same time. That was a bit of a non-bread moment there, wasn't it?
So what has coincided at different times but similar weeks for you?
Well, I just released a new video called Those Words, which came out on Monday. Saturday, my EP Love Letters is releasing on vinyl. And then next Friday, on the 4th of September, I am so excited to have my first gig back post-lockdown. I'm playing a show.
Yay!
Oh my God. Honestly, I haven't salivated over the idea of playing a show like this.
Yeah,
ever.
But you're playing the show at the Royal Albert Hall.
Yes.
For Proms, for the BBC Proms, with no fucking audience.
Nobody there.
And trust me, I've been trying to wrangle a job as your sound tech or a fucking roadie, and it's not allowed.
Anyone in? I can't get anyone in unless I sneak you in, like in an empty cigar box. I could probably fit.
I could probably fit. I mean, look. I mean, yeah, I could fit.
But you turn to the side.
I'm still fucking skinny, bruv. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
But so no audience.
So it's not just like any venue with no audience. It's like the biggest venue with no audience. So it's going to be 6,000 empty seats, you know? So it's really odd. Like I have no idea how that's going to feel, and I won't know until I'm there. So it might be a little bit strange or surreal or bittersweet, but also it's a show. So yeah. Really.
And you're playing on stage with real human beings.
Real human beings.
So Manu, obviously, who's handsome as fuck, so you get to stare at him for a bit.
Crush on Manu.
Who doesn't have a crush on Manu Delago? If anyone out there has seen Manu Delago, man's hot.
And then if you see him play.
So I don't understand how you can keep your own, like, you know, not guitar, like do all that business and then look over at like Manu and go, and not do that? Like how?
Trade secrets, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, just, yeah, he's amazing. He's one of my favorite musicians in the world. He just is insane. He's a complete genius. And our collaboration kind of now goes back quite a few years, and he's been part of like 2 albums. He co-wrote Land of Gold with me, essentially. We've gone around the world a few times now. And so now playing with him has that kind of ease that I have with I want to say on the whole more like Indian musicians, that we kind of maybe come from the same language a little bit more, and maybe someone like Prasanna that I've played with since we were babies, you know, and yet we're also speaking a similar language a bit more. So with Manu, it's kind of grown to that from years of playing together, and so now playing with him just has this like lovely trusting musical friendship aspect to it that's awesome. So the second half of the show is me and Manu as the soloists with the Britain Symphonia, who are a chamber orchestra, and that was a decision based on distancing measures. I was going to do this gig in July with a full orchestra, and luckily we could rearrange it with a smaller orchestra. And
a chamber orchestra is like 4 or 5 musicians, right? Or 3 to 4?
No. It's like 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. So it'll be like still an ensemble of violinists, viola, cello, bass. But like this is a strings chamber orchestra that we're playing with, so it'll just be strings. So what is that up to? 6 plus 5 plus 4 plus 3 plus 2, 20-ish people.
Look at your quick like Indian like time signature maths right there. It's
11,
like
15, 18, 20, 21. There we go.
Yeah.
So it'll be like under 25 of us on stage. So on that stage, we can keep distancing measures in place. So that's the second half. We're basically playing a bunch of my pieces from across different albums, some of which Manu and I wrote together. We'll be playing Land of Gold, we'll be playing Maya. And then in the first half, we're playing something I've only had a chance to perform once, which is a piece called Variations, which I wrote with the amazing electronic musician Gold Panda, who I know.
Oh, sick! Your Gold Panda collab.
Yeah, so I'm bringing him to the proms. Yeah.
So it's finally happening. Like finally.
Yeah. So it's like I'm doing a kind of electronic acoustic proms with all my own music. Like I feel like it's really nice for me. I actually feel very excited about that, because I think my very first prom was with my dad when I was younger. My second prom was playing one of his concertos with a very classical orchestra. My next prom, I think I guested with Nitin. Then I did one other prom, and it was Passages 3 years ago.
The Philip Glass one, because I was there. Yeah,
which was amazing.
Yeah.
But this is new because it's like more me and my stuff, and they, because of lockdown and because they're restructuring all the shows, I had that kind of ability to make suggestions of what I wanted to do, and so yeah, it's really nice to get to play Variations in the first half and get out my pedal board and my looping and my delay and do all of that at a prom, and then play with an orchestra afterwards. But even that's not like, you know.
So someone's just messaged that saying they can't find Passages by it's Savdeep Singh. Hi Savdeep Singh. They can't find Passages by you and Gold Panda on YouTube.
Try searching for Variations instead. So Passages was a different show, which is based on an album by my dad and Philip Glass called Passages. And Variations is the one that Gold Panda and I did, which we've just been sort of idiotic about. We hadn't named the piece properly when we did it in Paris. It was for a TV show called Variations. And now, like,
lazy titling.
2 years later, like a week before the show, 2 weeks before the prom, they're like, so what are we putting in the program? And we're like, ah! What do we call it? And I'm like texting Derwin going, what do we call it? And he's like, I don't know. And like ridiculous, like extensions. And I was like, tapestry. And then he was like, carpet. And then I was like, should we just stick with Variations? Yeah.
Carpet. Does the carpet match the drapes? That could be another disgusting one. Go. But I think what's interesting is well, exactly. But, or maybe not. But the thing is that because I don't know him, you see. But the thing is that I think that I was going to say something ridiculous and uncle-like, but as the world has locked down, it has given you freedom to play your own music.
Hari.
Also, another thing apart from my uncleness, right, is that, you know, your record store day release of your record, which I've had for ages because I'm a spoiled bastard and I got it ages ago. Yes.
One of us can flash it. Are you going to flash it or shall I flash it?
Yeah, mine's in the living room. So you got yours
yet? Flash it. Yeah.
Okay, you flash it. Yeah. So I was going to say that There you go.
There it is. Haha.
Amazing.
Lights and reflections and lamps in the back of the room and my face.
That's love letters.
My face. And in the back is some of the guest collaborators. So
who did the cover art again?
So there's this incredible woman. Oh my God, I have to tell you how I found her. But it's a painter from San Diego called Azima Noor. And
oh, she's from Cali, is she?
yeah, she's from California.
Okay.
So I first, you know, the way we kind of come across artists on Instagram, and it's like you just can find so many cool things. But she did a painting that was kind of influenced by the song Remain the Sea, but the words from it, which were done by Pavana Reddy, a poet in LA. And then she basically painted Shiloh as a goddess.
Shiloh is in Shiloh, Shiloh
from Bombay.
Okay.
So it was kind of like I was tagged because it was my song, and Pavana was tagged because it was her poem, and Shiloh because it was her face. So it was like this woman we didn't know, but it kind of connected everyone in this. Before I'd even met, I still haven't met Shiloh, but like we're in communication now. But it kind of all started with that painting.
You've never met?
I've never met her. No. I know.
What? Okay, yeah.
Or maybe I have.
Huh? What are you
Maybe
getting?
I have and I forgot. I don't know, but
No.
I think I would remember.
You would definitely remember, because then, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So basically, anyway, this woman, I started following her at that point, and then she did this stunning painting of an Indian princess. Like,
sorry, I just got that joke. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Fine. Okay.
Okay.
Canadian I am.
What's happening, Nerm?
I think 3 glasses of whiskey, maybe. That's what it is. But anyway, sorry, please continue.
So then, basically, I was following her on Instagram. I really saw a couple of paintings that I loved of hers. And then I went to San Diego, and I stayed at my mom's house when I had my hysterectomy last summer, right? So I think the day after I came home from the hospital, I was like scrolling on my phone in the dark, totally medded up. And like, and I saw one of her paintings again, and I was like, I'm just going to write to her. And I wrote her, and I was like, I just really love your work, and I'm working on this EP right now that's female collaborators. It's got this real strong female energy to it. I think your painting has that as well, and I would love to talk about maybe, you know, seeing if you could write for it. I don't know where you are, whether we could communicate. And she was like, she wrote back super excited, like, I'm a big fan and I love your work and I'd love to do this. I could come to you maybe, depending on how far you are. I'm living in San Diego. And I was like, I'm in San Diego right now, even though I don't live here anymore.
Complete serendipity.
Yeah. So she came over the next day with her camera, and I invited her to my mom's house there, and we had some lunch together. And it was like my first time sort of inviting a stranger home, you know, but just from that place of liking their art and wanting to bring that in. And it was just kind of this lovely energy of like, I think maybe it started with Pavana Reddy on Land of Gold, where it just started this thing of like, I like a poem on Instagram. I really like this poet. Why wouldn't I reach out? Why won't you just... Yeah. You know, try and have it come in. But this was just a physical version of that. And it was really like a trusting, open thing to do. I'm glad she wasn't some crazy stalker, murderer person, and ended up doing really beautiful paintings.
I'm glad you're not a stalker, but could you please paint my face?
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
yeah. Paint my face.
Paint my face and my friends' faces, please. And don't be a stalker. No. There's a certain level of investment you have to have for my features.
To stare at me hour after hour after hour.
By the way, someone said, "Can you stop picking your nose, dude? I'm rubbing it. I'm not that's picking my nose. I'm just rubbing my nose."
What's wrong with your nose?
Nothing. It's just itchy here.
Oh.
But anyway, oh yeah, I think I've got a spot here. Anyway. But I'm definitely not picking. Sorry, I'm just scratching the side of my nose. I'm not picking my nose at all.
Oh, you are the best interviewer.
But also, okay, so that artwork, that whole album, I've had it since March. And I realized that since lockdown, I started this whole conversation thing at the beginning of lockdown, which was the beginning of the mid-March, right? And you were my first ever guest.
I was your first ever
23 weeks ago.
What?
23 weeks ago.
Jesus Christ.
And your track, that release on vinyl was meant to have come out then.
Yeah. And then
Record Store Day.
Yeah, so Record Store Day was delayed from then, exactly.
So yeah, and it's coming out on Saturday.
Yeah, so here we are.
And you know what you did? Because of that, it inspired me to sort of make sure that Pavan's new vinyl came out on Record Store Day as well.
Nice one. What made you think that would be a good idea?
Because it's Record Store Day, and basically the vinyl that we're producing is like blue and orange. coloured,
Yeah. Yeah.
and super limited. And we thought, well, who
Awesome.
likes buying records? Everyone on the record store day.
Yeah. So it's a really good moment to catch. Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you
Nice.
for that.
You're welcome.
That was, you know,
I also like to think I instigated a positive experience of interviewing on Instagram Live for you, and that maybe I have some little part in this amazing series that you picked up, which we all love and which is so awesome. So thank you for
it. Yeah, I mean, basically, I still need a decent title for it. I mean, Nikesh, our other friend, was like, I should just call it Nerm Shouts at His Friends Drunkenly for an hour.
Nice. Or how about No Touchings?
Again, that I mean, yeah, I suppose that is a sort of, you know, social distancing thing, no touchings. But we do, I mean, we do get quite, you know, quite involved in these conversations.
Yeah.
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 I see some real questions showing up from you.
I know.
Do you want to look at any of them?
If anyone has got any questions, there's a little question mark button, right? Hit that and I will see them and I can put them to Anoushka. So yeah. And also someone did ask if your BBC Proms thing is going to be online.
It's going to be online afterwards. So you can catch it live on BBC 4 for TV, BBC 3 for radio. That's live on Friday evening UK time, like 7:30. Yeah.
Wait, 4, and then 3. Okay.
Like, how is this not a swear? How do I do this so it's not swearing?
Exactly.
But then, yeah, like all the other stuff, it'll be on iPlayer for a while. So, I mean, all of that is for the UK, obviously, but I'm assuming most people on here are savvy enough to have those VPN things that mean they can watch stuff from the UK from everywhere. So then you can watch it. So that's the 4th of September.
4th of September, which is this... No, shit, it's next Friday.
Next Friday, yeah.
Yeah, Friday after next. Yeah. Is the London show going to stream? We've already answered that one. And there you go. There's an interesting question from... I want to say...
That's a good question.
Icantic asks, what was going through your mind while composing Crossing the Rubicon?
That's a great question. So I've got to just mention quickly, the entire album overall was written in response to the still ongoing humanitarian refugee crisis. In 2015, I started working on the album. It was the same time I just had my second kid. And so there was like a moment I really remember that I'll never forget, which was like sitting on my sofa breastfeeding my baby, and then on the TV, just those images that I'm sure you remember of just boats and children and families like just trying to cross to safety. And then the bit that really got me beyond is, if that wasn't even enough, it was then the perspective of some people in response to that. You know, the ability to completely shut down any like human empathy towards this being humans trying to have the same safety that we have just by virtue of where we're born, and just kind of talking about them like vermin and like this and like that, and just like holding a baby and seeing these children and seeing them being seen as
the other. Yeah,
was just like the most horrendous like discrepancy that I couldn't resolve in my head, and that obviously influenced me in my life and as a person, but also influenced the music. And so that whole album was in response to that. And it was a bit of kind of narrative storytelling, I guess, where all the pieces were responding to the refugee crisis in different ways. So sometimes we were really imagining stories. So with Jump In, Cross the Line, featuring MIA, she and I really talked about like, what would it be like in that moment when you've just got to jump on a van or jump on it doesn't matter that like it's about to cross and you've got to hold on to the bottom of a lorry. What does that energy feel like? What does that fear feel like? Boat to Nowhere, as the title suggested, you know, what does it feel like when you leave everything you know and you're just going to get on a boat in a sea, you know, and cross to you don't know where? Like, that's how bad your situation is that you're going to go do that. So Crossing the Rubicon, sorry to take so long to get to that, but it feels like context is important on that one for me. Crossing the Rubicon is kind of like the heavy point of the album, where it just feels like this is the point of no return. This is the point at which you are having to like find within yourself the strength to just meet the darkest place, the most awful challenge that you ever have, and you have to somehow pull that out of yourself in the worst of circumstances. So I kind of wanted this song to be the scream, I guess, like the scream of that. And so that's what the Shania solo is really, in the middle of that. Sanjeev Shankar.
It's playing right now in the background.
No, really?
Dude, listen.
That one.
That's insane.
That's it. That one. That's bizarre.
That's so fucking weird.
That's really weird. Oh, nice.
Sorry,
yeah,
I'll let you continue. Sorry about that.
Yeah, so I was like in Sanjeev's face. Sanjeev Shankar played the most incredible Shania for this. And I was like in his face before the session going like, I need you to find your pain. I need you to find your pain. I need you to like, and I was just saying all kinds of awful shit to him really before he did his take.
I can imagine you getting really dark and being a complete bastard of a band leader.
I won't say the things I said, but but we got an amazing take. I mean,
mate. That's, I mean, yeah, to extract that kind of, I mean, that's a hell of a direction that you must have given him.
Yeah, but no, he can do that as well. So yeah, that's what that song is about, if that answers your question. Leith, my love, hello, darling. It's so nice to see you. I miss you. Nerm meet Leith, Leith meet Nerm. You're two of my favorite people in the world.
Hi, Leith.
There you go.
Right, here's another one. Lots of Indian people have been asking this as well. So Abhinav says, do you plan to have concerts in India post-lockdown?
Yes, God, please. Can you tell I miss being on stage?
But like concerts anywhere will do for now.
The first few months I was like, the bliss, I'm so present, I'm so here, and like just to be in one city, and now I'm like, get me on stage! Jesus. Yeah, no, I really want to come back as soon as it feels safe to do so, and that we are able to put on shows. I mean, as you can imagine, there's so many elements involved with booking this kind of stuff. We were going to do a bunch of centenary concerts for my dad this year for his 100th birthday. So we weren't going to do that just on his birthday last April. It was continuing through the year. So there was some really big concerts we were going to do this winter in India, which we then didn't progress in booking and finalizing in the middle of lockdown. So I don't know at this point when I'm coming, but I can promise I'll be coming as soon as I can.
Mm. And also, I think that, is your dad's stuff going to like roll on to next year? Is it going to be a 101 thing?
I think it's going to be a 101 thing. But, you know, at the moment, I feel like I'm so trepidatious to say anything about anything.
Yeah, because who knows?
You know, we might do it next year.
it might be 102.
Yeah, I mean, or we might never do live shows this. Oh no, I can't even say that.
Come on, be a bit positive.
There's that little voice sometimes that goes, "Oh my God, it's never gonna," you know.
I was going to say positive and pessimistic combined.
We'll adapt and find our ways. So as of now, the only one that officially immediately rescheduled was the London one, where from 7th April 2020 they moved it right away to 8th April 2021. So that is in the diary. That's the one that's featuring an entire Indian orchestra that I've put together, especially with all of my dad's disciples and myself, featuring Nitin Sawhney as a special guest, Adam Walker, an amazing classical flutist, and my sister Nora Jones. So 7th of April would have been our first time ever on stage together. So if that finally happens next year, you can look forward to that happening. So
I was gutted when that got cancelled. That would have been so much fun.
Me too, trust me.
Especially as I've realised that Nitin's actually quite a fucking laugh. So yes, thanks for that. Another question here from Dan Pinot of 95. Would love to hear any of your favourite memories of Pandit Jasraj, if you have any.
That's such a lovely question. I didn't actually have the fortune to know Pandit Jasraj very well. I met him a couple of times as a very young kid.
Who is Pandit Jasraj? Because I'm ignorant.
Thank you for asking. So Pandit Jasraj is was one of our great Hindustani classical musicians. He was one of the greatest vocalists of the 20th century. And he just passed away last week, which is why I'm guessing this person is asking that question. An incredible exponent of classical vocal style from North India. I mean, just an absolute legend. But no, I didn't know him personally, other than just meeting him very, very briefly as a kid and not really remembering conversations and things.
This is a question from Jacob. What's the weirdest but musically satisfying experimental music you'd like to record?
I thought it was going to be like, what's the weirdest, most satisfying thing I've already done? And then I love that the question actually said that I'd like to record, and that's given me a bit of pause. So
do both sides of that coin.
Well, I don't know. What's the weirdest thing I'd like to record?
Well, the one you have already done, and then what you'd like to do.
Oh, I don't know. Fuck.
I mean, I've got one thing which shocked me, which was when you started doing string bend.
What?
You started bending between notes on your sitar for
oh, that kind of thing, right?
Because that was weird enough for like you being so rigidly
that's also crossing the Rubicon. Yeah, I think it's been really interesting playing with technique and like, you know what? I actually got a bow recently, like a cello bow, just to see what happens if you bow a sitar, and
was it?
So far, nothing I would share with anyone. But wouldn't it be amazing if, like, suddenly that's what was happening?
That would be pretty cool. And also having you walk around with a sitar, which is a perennial thought in my head. With my own,
I was about to be so rude just now. I never know how rude I'm allowed to be because I'm talking to you and you're my friend. But then we're talking to other people.
That's the danger of these chats. It always gets right to the edge.
On, right?
Well, I was going to say, talking about experimentation, the first time I saw you with like pedals and like a sort of touchy machine, let's not talk about double entendres, but like, okay, fuck it, a touchy machine where you can trigger shit, right?
Yeah, yeah. So I think with that technique, so with Land of Gold again, like I think what's nice is like writing music very freely, and then you have to adapt the technology and the technique to be able to represent that music. So once we wrote Land of Gold, it was like, how are we going to put it out live? And obviously in the studio, it's easy to play a million sitar takes. And then it was like, I need a looping pedal. Okay, I need to figure that out. And now I need delay. And now I need reverb. And now I need, and just like now, like having a proper setup of all these beautiful pedals in front of me. And now I sit with my feet down in order to actually reach them. Because otherwise, you know, that would be fun. Yeah, that stuff's fun, but I guess I don't know what the weirdest thing I'd want to do is. I think I tend to not have like, I think as soon as you label it weirdest, like what's the weirdest thing you want to do, I'm like thinking for something that obviously doesn't feel authentic because I'm just trying to think of something weird.
And you're trying to sound cool.
Yeah, or weird, whatever that is. So yeah, I don't know. Sorry for the shit answer, person.
But I think one of the cruelest things you have done to your co-musicians is to the aforementioned amazing South Indian percussionist Prasanna, where you made him play a MIDI kit, and I was like, "What the fuck is this?" Prasanna's on a MIDI pad triggering stuff, and I was like,
he was not happy.
What the fuck?
Could you tell from his face that?
I told him. I was like, "Dude, you look fucking pissed off, bro." And he was just like, and he was playing, and it was from it's from Love Letters, so the new EP.
Yeah, we played Lovable, yeah.
Lovable.
But it was like, you know, when we're in a band, like we got to do what we got to do, right? And like in that particular song, the three women were playing instruments, they were doing their harmonies. Danny was playing his cello, I was playing my sitar, and it's like the beat's got to come from somewhere, and you are the percussionist. So,
but it's such a so it's nuts because I know the album quite well, but Lovable has got this weird triple hat, right? So it's not on a regular one.
It's difficult. It's really difficult.
It's so hard, like to get my head around it. I was just like, I don't understand this. So
yeah, no, I think just to like take a second to say, if anyone's not familiar with Ibai, get familiar with them because they are so incredible. They are just such amazing artists, and they're these beautiful identical twins that sing and play together. And Naomi in particular just is such a badass at coming up with these kind of incredible rhythms. And now that I've seen her in the studio, and I can see like how instinctive that is, like she's just in there like smashing it live, you know, she just played that thing.
That was her.
Yeah. So that's Naomi. So
holy shit! Yeah, I was like, so she programmed that triple hit.
She programmed that by playing it.
The triple hats between the hits.
She programmed physically by playing it rather than programming it. So she played that entire. None of it's looped or anything. She fucking sat there playing that whole thing, and we didn't like correct any of it or anything. Like her rhythm is that on. She's genuinely mind-blowing. So then to like have that's obviously how she thinks and how she feels though. So then to have someone else from a different tradition play that really twisted upside down rhythm on a tool that they're not familiar with is no small ask for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, I know Prasanna's rhythmical mind is fucking immense, so he could handle it for sure. Like, I think he'd be able to handle anything you throw at him. But the look of disdain on his face, like, I'm touching electronics. What the fuck is this? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was
It's
awesome.
good for him, though. I think we all need a little push sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and you're the person to give them a push. It's very good. Ah, here we go. This is a good question. From Shamin Mystery. He's saying, the entire EP Love Letters is brilliant, but heartbreaking in many ways. So is it coming from a place of deep pain?
Yes. What else to say? That was a no question.
I mean, so actually, but knowing you, and knowing this process, and knowing how you've performed it as well, it seems like it's a place of like positivity and also owning that shit and turning it into
Yeah, definitely. I think it's coming from a place of exploring that aspect of relationship. You know, I think that's definitely something I haven't really gone into in my music before, oddly, even though it's so universal. Like, people are writing about heartbreak all the time. And here I am, you know, album, EP, number, whatever. And it's like, oh, how about I write about relationships? This is a novel idea. And so, yeah, it was just kind of where I was at. And so some of it's, you know, coming from pain, some of it's coming from anger, some of it's coming from loss or confusion. But it's not like every song was about the breakup or a breakup or breakups. A lot of it was about just identity and confusion. Lovable is a great example. You know, the chorus is like, am I still lovable if you stop loving me? It's very much about oneself, you know, how we become like attached to our identity within relationship. I am a wife, I am a part of this thing, I am this household that I've built, you know, and then suddenly when you sever that, it's like, who am I? You know, do I still have the same worth without the validation coming from an external source? So that's kind of a lot more introverted than it being about a breakup. So different facets, I guess.
Yeah. I also did remember that the last night of the Lovable kind of tour in London.
I loved doing that show so much.
And it felt fucking raucous. It was great.
That's the thing. I think I can't help myself. Like I'm a sort of, I don't know which one I am. I'm either an optimistic pessimist or a pessimistic optimist. But the songs are sad, but there's no way I would be able to present a show of purely slow, like, sad songs. Because that's not how I live. That's not how I feel. Like, all of that stuff is to be moved through with hope, and one finds whatever you need to latch on to hope and latch on to connection and love and, you know, that human beauty. Otherwise, what's the point, right? So like in that show, it felt really nice to kind of go right into the dark bits at some points, and like, I know the audience is a bit like, oh, is she okay? But then by the end, like, we're in Reunion and we're in Opening Flowering Drinking, which is an unreleased song, and like just really happy, bright, you know, that's what we do as humans. We get through shit, right? So
yeah, totally.
Nice to celebrate that.
It was lovely seeing that live, actually, and that evolution that you talk about. Here's a question here, which I think is quite fascinating, because I want to know the answer to this too. So Arti Bala says, recommend classical music for beginners or newbies to start with?
That's a great question. I could maybe do a comment under this later if you publish it with a couple of things. But I think maybe if we're talking about Indian classical music, then to start with a mix of vocal and instrumental, so that you kind of get a sense of the variances with that. Sometimes instrumental music can be, oddly, a little bit easier for very new listeners, because some of the vocal styles can be so intense if you're not used to it. But within our classical style, there are so many lighter styles. You know, the Tumris are often a lot more accessible because they're a bit lighter, closer to folk music. So that's stuff that people might be aware of and familiar with. And also, like, obviously we have North Indian classical and South Indian classical, Hindustani and Carnatic music, and they're very, very distinct from each other. So if you were wanting to kind of try a smorgasbord a little bit before finding the things that you'd like, I'd say actively look for hearing some of the South Indian legends as well as some of the North Indian legends.
Nice. Someone's asking, when are you releasing Opening Flowering Drinking? Is that going to come out?
okay, I'll say this here because hopefully it doesn't go anywhere. But like, my sister.
This will be saved and put up.
Okay. Well, my sister might sing on it. She's just having to look at it and her schedule. So,
cool.
So we've kicked that over to her, and then we'll see how that goes, and then we might release it as a single whenever that's ready. So Olive Lenz and I have been kind of working on the song together, like a lot of love letters, and then we thought, actually, let's see if Nora wants to sing it.
I've got to say, Alev's fucking gangster. Like, you guys working together amazing. Was just like.
She's amazing. She's amazing. I love her. She's like got this kind of easygoing, scrappy, jokey personality where it almost seems like you're just going to sit down and do something silly and maybe nothing great will come of it, but that's okay. You'll try again later. That's the kind of feeling. It's so casual. And then she opens her mouth and starts singing, and it's like that woman just is so there, like with her performance and delivery every time. It's astounding. And also I just really want to highlight what an incredible collaborator she is, because I've had different options and experiences as well. Like, it was really like having a cheerleader in the room, like someone who was just so encouraging and open. And I think historically, I think maybe it's been rooms full of men a little bit more, where maybe if the idea doesn't work immediately, it's kind of shot down quite quickly. Whereas she was the kind of producer and collaborator who was willing for it to take as much time as it needed to if there was something I was curious about. So there was no little idea that was like, oh no, that's not going to work. It was like, let's try it. Let's give it as much time as you need it to have. And then we'll know if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But like, you get to try, you know? And it was just a really beautiful thing to notice how much that does for the music.
Yeah, I guess there's a place of understanding and similarity that I guess resonates when you're writing a song with someone. That is completely different if it was someone that doesn't have a similar experience to you.
Yeah,
or at least in that pocket.
Similar background things and similar recent events.
Where's she from?
She's German Turkish.
Okay.
But she lived in Shoreditch for when I met her, and until recently. So I met her through our friend Margie, who.
Oh yeah.
And so she put us in touch back when I was doing Land of Gold, and she helped co-write the song Land of Gold. Awesome.
So Sid has been commenting a lot about Indian classical with metal, and if you like metal. So I'm a metalhead. I know about metal, but like up to the 90s, and then I discovered like drum and bass in the mid 90s, and then I went from that to that. But yeah, Indian classical and metal. What are your thoughts?
So the person Sid, is it? Maybe we can do another comment, because I'm just having a total brain fart right now about that band that already has the sitar player in it. Is he Rishi or Ricky? Like
Rishi.
Rishab.
Yeah,
okay, yeah, cool.
Rishab. Yeah.
So there is this kind of like sitar metal thing that's going on. I think it's cool. Like I don't have like a strong opinion one way or the other about it. I think like Indian instrumentalists can fucking shred. So when you put that in context of metal, it's gonna be great. Like it's gonna work. It's not something I've listened to a huge amount of as a crossover genre, if there is such a thing as a crossover genre. But I did do one of my first collaborations. I couldn't find it if my life depended on it at this point. But do you remember a psychedelic trance band that was actually very metal influenced called Dark Soho?
I was not a psytrance guy. I think that's where our worlds are completely separate.
This is where I come from, the psytrance world. And like, they were this Israeli band group that I met through like the Alchemy Records guys in London, psytrance label. And so back in the day, back in those days, I did a little recording with them.
A little something.
Yeah, and it would just be at these like giant psytrance parties where suddenly you'd hear my sitar going like really low and just like so badly recorded and tarted up and like, but no one knew it was me, and I never like took credit on it or anything, but it was super fun to do.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And Imran, I saw a comment fly past. Imran's asking, do you have a sitar tech when you travel, or is that all just you?
I like to travel with a sitar tech whenever I can. Often. Rizzo, yeah, exactly. Dark Soho, Rizzo, yeah, someone knows. Okay. I try and travel with a sitar tech when I can. It might be like one of my father's, younger students or someone learning with me, and yeah, it's really nice to have that, because the sitar can be such a sort of finicky, delicate, temperamental thing that sometimes I need a little help.
Yeah, I can imagine. Like I was doing some research into Prince guitar techs because I'm a big Prince nerd, as we've discussed, and
I'm
every
a lot
fucking
nicer to my text than Prince may have been.
Because I was like, he's notoriously difficult, and I was just like, I bet Anoushka's way harder to work with.
No.
Actually, Jules has some info on that, so yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
you're
you
right.
heard the stories. Yeah,
I have heard the stories.
We'll keep them quiet, but yeah.
Yes, exactly. So I saw a comment fly by, and this is an interesting one as well that you probably won't like, and I'm just preparing you. But talking about like your father's sort of students, do you have any disciples? Have you decided, like, you haven't taken taught or anything?
That always scared me. Like, there was the idea of being a guru terrified me. Like, there was some kind of role I imagined that involved stepping into, like some kind of utter immersion into that world that I think historically I feared would almost swallow me up. Like, I'd get lost within this massive tradition that I've always kind of loved, but also kind of kept a little bit at arm's length, you know. And on teaching, I think I'm such a perfectionist. It's always really scared me. So it's something I've kind of been trying to like just get over at this point, because I am aware that I've been given something really quite precious and that it could be passed on, and that would be beautiful. There was a guy from Belgium that reached out a couple of years ago and like pushed often enough that it got annoying. So I finally agreed to meet him. So I have a Belgian student. His name's Nicolas, and he's really sweet. And he comes, well, not since lockdown, but he comes to London now and then, and we've done lessons together. And yeah, so not much beyond that.
Yeah, because I think that there's like, you know, I hear this so much. It's like, oh, are you teaching? Are you teaching? Are you teaching? And it's got to be, you must get bombarded with that question constantly.
It comes up. It comes up. I mean, I think on the whole, I've been able to swat it away a bit by saying that, like, I don't know if it's a true answer. I think my bullshit answer is that I say, oh, I'm really focused on my touring career now. And in a way, those days are numbered. Like, I might later want to settle and teach more, so I'll save it for when I'm older. And that sounds logical, but the real answer is that it scares me. You know, I think there's a commitment to teaching that I really value and respect, where like, it's not just like other kinds of online do an hour a week, like that guru shishya relationship that I've experienced and that I've seen all around me through the classical music world is so precious, and it's so immersive. What it asks of the disciple, but also what it asks of the guru to pass on an oral tradition from one to the other in that way, and to have that kind of relationship with someone. I think it just scares me, to be honest.
Yeah, it does seem quite old school. Like, you know,
yeah,
it seems almost like Fight Clubby or Kung Fu, where you have to sort of, you got to, you know, it's like a Kung Fu thing. You have to climb to a temple and you have to wait outside of it for 5 hours. You got to live there. You got to spend the first, like, yeah, exactly, wax on, wax off for 5. Like, oh, maybe what would it be? What?
Let's not go there.
No, okay, no, okay, fine. I was done. Anyway, okay, fine. I can't think of anything
I'm
analogous.
just gonna let you look obscene on screen here,
okay, fine,
while you figure this all out.
But yeah, it does seem like this whole, you know, this big commitment, which I can imagine is totally like, I guess it's also a restriction of your own freedoms, because once you've committed, it's very difficult to uncommit.
Totally. No, I do. I value it, and I will do it. Is the short answer. I'm just not doing it much at the moment.
But your bullshit answer makes a lot of sense.
It does, right? Yeah.
Yeah, but it's also logical as well, like, because one day you might want to not hit the road anymore, and therefore that's and I guess that whole passing of wisdom. And in fact, this is the point with the old kung fu masters and shit. If we're looking at all of that, were old fuckers that can't get out the temple.
Right. Well, I don't know. Like, I don't.
Not that I'm cussing gurus or anything like that. I just want to clarify.
Well, I think, you know, that's the thing. I don't want to like spend too much time talking about this, but at the same time, I think there is something quite unique about the Indian musical tradition, because it does so specifically train people to be performers and teachers.
Right.
I think that's quite an unusual thing. Not everyone is at the same level as both, of course.
Sure.
But because of the nature of the beast, like, it's an oral tradition, so you've got to pass it on, otherwise it's going to die with you. So
yeah.
So these people are, you know, they are performers and they are teachers. And I think in the Western world or in other cultures, like, it is quite true that, like, there's that kind of awful, mean cliche of, like, you know, those who can't do teach. And I don't believe that for one bit. at all. But there is this kind of binary sense that either you're the kind of person that's out there doing it, or you teach it, which isn't the case for us. So it is like people need to develop both those skills.
Okay, well that's a very, very, very good, succinct answer. This question won't actually. I'm just trying to move this up. Nope, it won't actually like expand. But Arul's asking, how do you select collaborators for your records? Do you think deeply about, and then it cuts off. But I think it then goes about sort of. I imagine he was talking about origin and gender and all those kinds of things.
So chemistry. Fundamentally, which can't be explained or analyzed. I have an instinct that I trust, that some people just make me feel this sense of like, I want you. You know, there's just something there that calls to me. And I don't get to work with every single person I feel that way about. A lot of the people I feel that way about maybe just come across my path in order to inspire me. You know, I don't go and work with every single person whose gig I love, but there is a particular something where I'm like, I want to learn from you. I want to be with you. I want to be around your sound. There's something that you do that I can't do. You know, just a something. And I think on the whole, like I've been really lucky that whenever I felt that way, it's never been wrong. So I've never kind of gone and pursued someone to work with and then been in a room going, oof, this doesn't work. It's always worked. But yeah, increasingly over the last couple of years in particular, I started looking back and going, who am I working with? Like, what's my roster of like collaborators? How many have been men? How many people have been of color? And suddenly like going, wow, I need to be more aware of that. That's something I need to be looking at proactively. And, you know, I've been a feminist as long as I knew the word existed. However, it took the last few years of that kind of challenging of societal norms for me to look at the idea that I may not be a giant company, but I do choose who I work with, and I do sometimes employ people and take them on tour. So all the stuff that I'm wagging my finger about, I also need to be doing. And it was kind of like a bit of a watershed moment where I was like, I'm not fully being accountable here as a woman, you know, to other women, for example. So that's the kind of thing that I've started looking at more actively in the last couple of years, and that feels really good as well. So
like it's like kind of Spider-Man, Uncle Ben's words to Spider-Man: with great power comes great responsibility.
I wouldn't quite go Spidey on it, but
no, but I totally, I guess
it's that like we all kind of look upwards and point the finger, right? It's like those big guys, or like this big person, or that thing, and it's like we all impact in different ways. I might hire 5 people when I go on tour, but that's still 5 people that I'm choosing. And you know, sometimes it might be that like engineers just are more often male, so more of the engineers that come across my path are male, more of the ones that will be recommended to me will be male, more you know. And so it takes that extra work. It takes a step to kind of hunt for the female engineer and go, okay, I need to look for this. And so, you know, once you commit to putting in that little bit of extra work, then it can start to help to minimize the inequality that's there in the numbers. But without doing the active work, it's not just going to happen by itself.
Yeah. I find that like with stuff that I've done is when someone says there aren't, you know, X, whether it's black people or women or whatever doing this, I'm like, mate, there's a whole fucking world out there.
You just don't know.
Like, you haven't looked hard enough, man. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just, what the hell is wrong with you? Just look harder. And I just, I think that's just a lazy answer, I think, when it's like, there aren't so-and-so doing so-and-so. It's like, no. Yeah. There's an interesting question about, are you interested?
I'm just going to say, I'm in no rush to go, but if the doorbell rings, that's my kids getting home from the play date, so I will shoot off.
Sure, I need to wee as well. And we've got like 3 minutes before this. Dude, it's been almost an hour. We've spoken
Your
for like...
Your bladder is smaller than mine.
Oh, mate, it's like the size of a small girl's fist.
I got told that mine was smaller than a thimble.
Mine's smaller. Okay, so I'm going to leave... You know what, actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this question with you, and I'm going to run and pee. Okay. So this, because then I've got a break.
Okay.
Yeah. So are you interested in creating music for independent films? And would you guide filmmakers who want your guidance on music?
Whoa. Yes, I'm interested in making music for independent films. Or
I'll be back. Okay.
In general. You need to give me a question with more than that. So he's gone to pee. Yes, I'm interested in scoring for film, both for creative reasons and also as a mum, because I've definitely really been challenged in the last few years by trying to strike that balance between doing enough work and being creatively fulfilled, but also being present and being there as a mom. And, you know, not that it's perfect, but I just imagine the idea that like being able to do more of my work from home creatively, and getting to write for film and TV, that would just mean that I'm home with my kids. So I definitely want to do more of that. I'm going to wait for Nerm to come back, but I can actually hear that my kids have come home. So I'm going to probably go in a minute. So if you guys have any last questions for him to choose from, then I can answer them. Thanks for being here, you guys. Someone just asked, is there any reason why you play reunion after the end? The end should go at the end, right? I just took another question from there that was, is there any reason you play reunion after the end? And the end is a very sad song, so I don't play it to finish. There's always more after the end. Whatever you think is the end is just the end of something, and then it goes on, and there's more. So
how sweet.
Yeah.
Did you mention Shiraz when you talked about the film?
Azima Noor, you missed us talking about you, or maybe you didn't, but there's the painter I was telling you about earlier who did all of this beautiful, beautiful work that we were talking about earlier. So I showed you the front before, but then there's all the other women on the album that are on the back you can see.
Big up Azima.
Yana and Shilpa and Ibei and Aleph, all painted by the wonderful Azima Noor.
Woohoo!
Who is awesome.
Someone's saying virtual concerts, yes, 4th of September on the
4th
BBC.
of September on BBC, Friday evening, UK time. Come and watch us, come and listen to us.
Did you mention Shiraz, by the way, on this when you're talking about films?
I didn't know. I forgot all about it.
I thought that was going to be a segue into the one fucking soundtrack you've done.
I basically said yes. Yes, I'm interested in writing for films. I have written for film. I co-scored A Suitable Boy, which is a TV series, which is pretty iconic and just came out.
What a good
I'm
man.
not a good self-promoter, you know. And I wrote the score for this incredibly legendary piece of Indian cinema called Shiraz, which was released in 1928. But I think we talked about that last time. So
yeah, I mean, but that was 23 weeks ago.
23 weeks ago.
I mean, yeah, I mean, yes.
Is there any other question you want to pick? Or?
I don't know, actually. Have I got a question for you? I don't know.
How can we not talk about what happened yesterday or Monday?
I mean, we can talk about it. We've got some time. Yeah, fine. We could always reconnect if we don't have time. But go on, let's talk about it.
So you were there. You probably saw more of it than I did because I was so busy scrambling trying to. But I did an Instagram live for a publication a couple of days ago. And this is just a really nice way to do this kind of thing, isn't it? What we're doing here right now. If anyone from any publications is looking for an example of how to do Instagram live in a way that doesn't put women at risk of a whole bunch of online abuse from
nasty people.
From nasty people's, this would be a really good way. Have someone else that's lovely be online and moderate and be able to
control the narrative.
Yeah.
I think we touched on this in our conversation with Ishani because she gets a lot of shit because obviously she's young and a girl and obviously it gets. Have you got to go?
Hi. No. Hi. Don't come on the camera because this is going to end up published later. But hi. Say hi to your Uncle Nerm.
Hi.
Hello. You're going to put this online, so I'm not going to have his face.
Yeah.
So they're back. Can you give me 5 minutes so I can just finish this chat? We're actually chatting live to people right now. There's 140 people listening. And he's back. There's Zubin's hand.
Okay, awesome.
I'll be there in 5 minutes. Okay, thanks. Love you too.
So yeah, we were talking about sort of basically, online stuff.
Just the normalization and prevalence of online abuse, right? And it's like, I think like that's been what's really interesting about it is like I'm not a 20-year-old rock guitarist where this happens every day to me anymore. So I think this was kind of a bit more unusual going onto their platform and having that happen. And it wasn't that I was troubled by it so much as a personal thing. I was fine, but like the idea that all of it's being talked about is how normal and how common it is. That's the bit that I can't handle. Like it's like, that's the bit that makes me recommit in every moment to kind of needing to say something about it every time it happens. Right. Cause like every time we don't say something about it, we're just allowing it to perpetuate. So
yeah, totally.
you know, I'm not in any way blaming like the platform, but it just feels like we've all got to do more. You know, it's not like it's their fault that there's a person out there that's deciding to put up rude words and rude comments or whatever, but you've got to look at that and then go, okay, what can we do about it now?
Yeah, I think a protective barrier is kind of a simple thing you could do. But again, you know, not every publication has a me, you know what I'm saying?
But you're special.
But yeah, I mean, you're right. I honestly, I watched that and I was just a bit like, you know, it's something that I can't deal with when it comes to my friends, where I'm just like, yo, fuck off. I get upset and angry by it. Yeah. With Monica, for example. So, you know, whenever Monica's on a chat or I do anything live, Monica's just like show boobs to me because it's funny. Because it's just so
like, I thought about that yesterday because I'll be on the chat when she's talking to you and I'm like, show me her boobs, haha. But it's like,
but it's ridiculing. It's ridiculing that to me as a man. Because it's so obtuse having a stranger asking any woman, show us your tits. Like, what the fuck? Come on. No, it's ridiculous. Yeah. So, you know, that's it. Moderation, I guess. Not moderation in terms of language, moderating the comments.
Yeah. Zero tolerance in terms of the actions, but like moderation in terms of moderating. Yeah.
Exactly. Totally. Well, look, I'm going to let you get back to your family.
Oh, lovely. It was nice to chat with you.
It was lovely to chat to you too.
Even better to see you for Turkish food in the reels earlier in the week.
I was so full, I couldn't walk
home.
How
good was that? Like, oh my God.
I was so full and just wobbly.
Doesn't it feel so nice to be going to restaurants again?
With a social distance and all safetiness in place, it's excellent.
Yeah. Hi, Bishi. We're just heading off, but it's nice to see you.
Hi, Bishi.
That was really fun.
Thank you, lovely. And thank you, everyone, for joining us.
Out a record store day this Saturday. My prom is on the 4th of September at the Royal Albert Hall. I'll be playing with Gold Panda and with Manu Dilago and Jules Buckley and the Britain Symphonia. I've got some collaborations out. We forgot about those. So I did a guest appearance for His Holiness, the Dalai Lama. And see, look, I'm doing my job. And I also did a guest appearance for Patti Smith and the Soundwalk Collective. And
you have a video out.
And I have a new video out for Those Words, which we shot in lockdown, which was really fun.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. All the pluggings happened. Very good.
It happened. Yeah.
I like how one of the impetuses of this whole conversation was the plugging, and it's just mainly us talking shit. That's awesome.
Just talking shit.
Yeah. All right, lovely. Thank you, everybody.
Love you. Bye.
Bye. Bye.